Sit over here. All right, Mr. Kisinger, if you would, could you tell me a little about your where you were born, when you were born, a little maybe about your parents?
Well, I was born here in Brownsville, May the 12th, 1917. My father was Arlie W. Kisinger. My mother was Eva Elliott from Jefferson Township.
You were born in the hospital or in the...
I don't think so. I think I was born at home. Yes.
Now, where would that home have been?
Over on Market Street, what was formerly 215 Market Street. It's been torn down in the path, the high-level bridge there.
So that was a funeral home at that time?
That's right. It wasn't at the time I was born there. It was our private home. That was before it was converted to a funeral home.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's right.
Do you have any children?
I do. I have three. Three
Sons,
daughters.
3 daughters?
That's right.
They still live in the Brownsville area?
Well, one lives in McMurray, the other Pennsylvania, the other two live down in Virginia, one in Reston, Virginia, and the other in Springfield, Virginia.
So you're a lifelong resident of Brownsville?
That's right, I am.
How far back in your family does the funeral home business go?
Well, it goes back when my father got into it, started into it about 1913, I believe.
And where would he have had his...
It was downtown in a couple different locations. It was over there at one time. The first place was in there where the borough parking lot is, diagonally across from Integra Bank. Be across.
Oh, okay. You mean over where there was a nut shop over there at one time?
Well,
Is that where...
I don't know about that. In there were Trumpers had a store at one time in that location.
Yeah.
And later he moved up to the upper end of what was known as the Flatiron Building.
Back behind, like the story house there?
The upper side, that's right. The upper side of that's the extension built onto the Flatiron Building.
Right. Where was the entrance in the back?
The entrance is the lower level, in the back, in the lower street.
And you had to go in and go upstairs?
You could enter from the sidewalk up above or come in from the street down below. That's right.
When did they move there? Have any idea?
Oh, I think he moved over there in 1924 or so, 25.
And that would have been just the business place, not the home?
That's right. That's right. Just a private business place.
What caused him to move the funeral home up to where you were living?
To get a better facility, more room, some parking. It was inadequate parking down there, you know.
Yeah. Wasn't there a park? Where did people park when they came to the home down here on?
Well, they parked in the rear street behind. It didn't work out too bad, but we had some parking right in the property itself and in the rear on Brashear Street.
So that street, that brick hill that went down, was considered Market Street then?
No, that was called Hill Street.
Well, that was Hill Street.
That's what it was called.
But your address was?
Market Street.
So you must have been up near the top.
We were to the top. We fronted on Market Street.
Oh, I see. Was there another funeral home on that same hill?
Yeah, Skirpin was there next to us.
And did you both have to move because of the bridge?
That's right. Yeah.
What was this building at that time?
It's a private home.
It's a big house. Whose home was it?
Frank Silman, President Hillman Barge.
Oh. And that would have, what, 1961?
Well, I think I moved here about 1962, I think. Something like that. I believe that was about it.
So the funeral home's been in 4 places?
Well, let's see. That's right. This would be the 4th place.
Can you remember, I've gone to the Overholt homestead up in Scottdale, Pennsylvania,
yeah.
where the Frick home is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a table in one of the rooms. I don't recall what they call it. It's used as a dining table, but it also has a place in it for ice. And that occasionally, according to the guide there, when there was a death in the family, that table, they had ice put under it, and then they put the body on that table for a couple of nights. How long has it been accustomed to use a funeral home instead of the home?
Well, the use of funeral homes, I suppose, began to develop around 1930, from there on, something like that.
1930.
I think
so.
so.
Your father would have been kind of an early.
Was one of the
early
more
ones.
early starts. That's right.
And I guess the theory was you could get that out of your home and to someone that was a professional and
That's right.
not have to worry about it.
That's right.
What were some of it? Do you know of any of the older customs that are no longer?
Well,
Of course, some of them would date back to when you had the funerals in the home. But
the taking the body home, having layout of the body in the private home was probably the earlier custom. That's been done away with. That's very, very seldom done nowadays. But it was done about 95% of the time back in those days.
do they always call that a wake?
Well, not necessarily. No. No, they didn't.
What is a wake? Is a wake?
Well, just sit with the body for 2 evenings or something like that in a day.
That's why they call it a wake.
I think so. Keep awake at night. Perhaps that's where the term came from. I've never really pursued that.
And then after the body had been laid out in the home for a couple of days, were the bodies embalmed in those days?